Yo, what's good guys? AlliTrades here, and today I have a very important video for you guys because I'm going to be showing you how I turned a losing streak and a bad week into one of my most profitable weeks just by sticking to it. So let's get right into this. Alright guys, the first loss that I want to break down is this Euro JPY trade right here. When I hopped at the charts, I saw we had this nice little, hour demand zone, and we're kind of rejecting over here. This is very important to mark out. I was like, hey, we swept Asia highs, the minute 5 broke structure, and I just really liked how it looked. I wanted to hop in and trade. That's honestly the main issue here just to start with. Now, if you guys look, the minute 5 OB would be over here, which makes this setup valid. But if you look at the higher time frames, we were actually tapped in on the minute 15 OB. That was technically the one that was highest in price. And so when you look over here, price never gives us that break of structure that we needed in order to consider this a valid setup. And that's why you see price, despite us having confirmations on the 5-minute, order flow over here wasn't playing on the minute 5, it was playing on the minute 15. And so you can see price just instantly stops us out and we end up losing this trade. What I could have done there is stayed more patient and wait for a true break of structure, because if I did, I would have either had a much higher probable trade, I bet you we would have won that, or I would have had no entry on this one and we would have taken no loss. So let's get into the next one. There are these 2 Euro USD trades that we took this week. One of them we ended up getting break even, and one of them we still got stopped out on. And I just want to show you guys very quickly. So when I was looking at the higher time frames, I was honestly believing that we're going to drop all the way to this order block over here. I thought, hey, there's this huge imbalance in the market and we are ready to go. Judging on how low everything was here, I didn't expect us to continue upwards. Now, when price started to create this, I just started respecting this tap during London session, or right before London session actually. I decided to hop in once we created this new low right here and took my stops a little bit higher. As you guys can see, that actually started running very nice profits. It was 1 to 2 right there, and I even had a nice little scale in off of the rejection over here. So you guys can see we're floating 1 to 2 on that entry. I put my stop above this huge massive drop right there. My next entry was 1 to 1. Now what happened here is, you guys can see my entry was strictly based off of understanding where price wanted to go and just watching price respect this little trend line. So the second we broke above this trend line, I should have taken that as a sign to hop out of this trade and only get back in if I get another confirmation. That was my issue right there, as I didn't get out once we broke this trend line. And you guys can see price did this and then started to create higher highs and higher lows, and then eventually stops out these positions. Luckily we had this one set to break even, and this one I didn't set it to break even. We ended up getting stopped out on that one. And you guys can see price just does its thing and starts to push higher highs. Very big lesson to be learned there, and I'm gonna make sure that I did. All right guys, up next we have GBP USD, which we actually called a great 2 trades on to start off our week, and this had put us in a very good direction, which allowed me to be confident going through the rest of the week, also taking the losses. And I just want to break down exactly why we took this trade. So as you guys can see, price was ranging in this channel and it looked like we finally broke out, but just to break back in. So that was already my first sign that there was going to be a nice entry over here. So when I was looking at the charts, I saw, hey, you know what, we finally broke out, and I was on the 1-minute time frame, and I really liked how price started to react. Like, I just thought, hey, everything here is moving very clean. We're kind of respecting this downtrend line, and price obviously was moving bullish on the higher time frames, and it broke out of our channel like slightly. And then the first thing it did after it broke out of there was it started to give us a downtrend. And so that's why I wanted to see where we could take this to. So when I was on the charts, it was exactly 12:37 a.m. that I called my first signal, which you guys can see is right about on this pullback. So I was in up here, and I just had my stops tucked right above this wick over here. So I put it a little bit higher to 445 just to stay safe. And then my targets when it came to this trade was actually, I was looking at the 1-hour time frame. I wanted to make sure that the level I took this to was the known. And what do I mean by that? In my head, there's always 2 things in the trade. If I'm in this trade, it's because I know price will either hit my stop loss or it will hit this take profit. Obviously, price can sprint past my take profit. I could leave money on the table or whatever anyone wants to say. But as long as I reached the known, then that's a successful trade. When you enter the unknown, which is the area where it's after your take profit and you're just guessing now, that's where you're going to get stopped out 9 out of 10 times and blow all your profits. So to me, the known was this little demand zone over here, or Asia lows, or even this little gap we had in the market right here. So I wanted to make sure I was very smart with this trade, right? So then price starts to do its thing, and right at, within the next hour, I started to notice, hey, what's going on here? Price is giving us a great opportunity to do what? To scale in. So you guys can see we're a little bit above this SMA. I don't really use indicators, but recently I've been rocking with the 8 SMA and the 50 SMA. And then I saw price give us these rejections, and I just really started to like it. I waited for a nice confirmation, and you guys can see we had a little bit of a trend line building up here, a little bit of a double top if you guys trade those patterns, and I'm just using as many confluences as I can. And then right here I actually hopped in this entry, and my stops were tucked in right at 340. So now same take profit, which is the known areas, and as you guys can see, price does its thing, starts to melt, pulls back up, and then it gives us obviously a great scale in there if you were to look at the break of structure and the order block, but I didn't take that. And this was all taken on live, so you guys can view that live stream if you want, as well as most of my trades are taken on live. And then you guys can see take profit was absolutely smashed. I closed right there, and it was a very nice way to start the week because I had already put myself up 14% on this trade and 7% on this trade to start the week out at 21%. And the final pair I want to go over is Euro Odd, because there were some very nice lessons to be learned here. So I looked at Euro Odd after we got stopped out on those Euro USD trades I showed you guys. When it came to Euro Odd, I saw price really heavily respect this demand zone down here, and even gave some great order block entries off of the minute one. You guys can see it played down here, and then it broke structure, and off the breaks you could have gotten in, but I wasn't looking at the charts, and I wanted to make sure that I could still capitalize on this move as I knew the direction was going bullish. Now, my first entry came over here, where as you guys can see, price started to move greatly in my direction. I had alerts right at this level here towards the Asia highs to set my stops to break even, because if price couldn't break above Asia highs, I didn't want to see it come all the way back down and stop me out. I was actually floating very nicely here. I was up 1 to 1.5, so 3%, as I was risking 2%. And then price kind of got very close to that Asia high, and then it broke structure towards the downside and started to trend downwards. So I put my stops to break even, and I hit break even on this one. Later on this day, I saw another opportunity to get in as I saw price start to trend upwards. And as you guys can see here, we had this big push to the downside, and then a big break, a pullback, a break, and a retest. And so I took 3 different entries on this one. I took an aggressive entry, I took a light entry, and what I mean by that is this is my light entry. The second we broke above here, I took 1 entry with a 10 pip stop loss to give myself some breathing room. Right up next, I took another entry once I saw it start to form this, and I just wanted to see price not touch under this gap, this fair value gap we have resting right here. So my next trade was placed just right there. And then when price started to run even further up, I took another one with a stop loss just under the trend line. As you can see, all 3 of these absolutely banged. These were all called in my signal room, and all I did was simply target the previous high we were at. Once price started to respect this trend line where I saw taps 1 over here, 2 here, I said, hey, you guys know what? Set stops to break even, because if price breaks under this trend line, I'm not going to make the same mistake we made on the other trade, because I learned from it and we're going to grow. And then you guys can see I set my stops to break even. We close out over here. One of these trades hits 1 to 6, one of these hits 1 to 4.5, and one of these hits 1 to 2. So if I'm risking 2%, that's 4% here, that's 12% here, and that's 9% there. So this set us ahead on the week. These 3 trades caught us an absolute bang of 25. And it just shows that if you stick to your risk management plan, you follow your rules, and you learn from your losses, that you can overcome any losing streak and even create a winning streak, right? So I finished off the week on a 3-win streak here, And I hope you guys learned something very valuable during this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to receive all my trades, we'll obviously have the paid signal room, which has been absolutely killing it. The link will be in the description. We'll also have the free Discord, the free Telegram, and obviously this YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed to all of those. All my links are in the description. I hope to see you guys in the next video and during the live trading sessions this week. And let's continue to kill it.